This filter makes me look way cuter than what I actually look right now. I can tell you that much. Anyways, so here is a video of what happened this weekend. It was quite the adventure. So I know that I was going to give you guys more backlogs of my pregnancy, but before I keep doing that, I need to tell you guys about this past weekend. On Saturday, January 20th, I went to Kohl's, walking around, and I was walking to get some my nephew's gonna be 2, and I was getting him a couple of shirts and some pants. Sorry, my brain's like everywhere. And I felt this like really sharp pain on my right side, close to like the crease of my leg, like where your pelvic bone is and then your leg is, like that crease that's like right there. I felt a pain there, and it hurt, and I was like, whoa. And I had to take a second to like kind of like collect myself, I guess, and then I was able to walk again. And it happened again, and I was like, oh my gosh, like this hurts. So then we were looking for stuff for my nephew, and then we were looking for some jeans for my brother, but we didn't find the jeans. So then we were checking out, and I had a water bottle, but my dad finished it. So then I grabbed one at the register at Kohl's, and I was like, can you charge this for me real quick? And he said, yeah. So he did, and I was drinking it, but the pain kept coming on, and I was like, man, this hurts. And my mom said to just rub it. Maybe it was the baby sitting on that side. So then I was rubbing it, but it was not helping. And so we got home, and my mom told me to lay on my grandma's bed and just relax. So I did. I put on my sweats and a loose t-shirt, and I was laying on my back, but I felt like that was making it worse. So then I laid on my side, and then it's like once I laid on my side, it started making the whole front, like under my belly, hurt so bad, and progressively getting worse. And then I was waiting to see if like it would go away, because I don't like going to the hospital. I really don't. So unless it's absolutely necessary, and I thought maybe it was Braxton Hicks contractions. So anyway, Braxton Hicks contractions they're basically like false labor is what I understood of it. So I thought, okay, maybe that's what it is, and it's gonna go away in a little bit, because it started at 3:30 is when I started to feel them. And then we got home, and I was laying down and everything. And then about 6:30, 6:45, I started timing them, because they started coming kind of like in waves. So I was timing them, and I was getting them every 2 to 3 minutes, and it hurt. It was hurting. And so I called my doctor, and my doctor told me to go to the hospital. So I went to the hospital. First I went to the ER, because that's where I thought I had to go. So I went to the ER first, and when I got to the front desk, the guy asked me how many weeks I was, and I told him I was 29 weeks. And he told me that since I passed 14 weeks, that I have to go up to labor and delivery, and that I would be seen by labor and delivery nurses and everything. And I said, okay, that's fine. And my mom asked me if I wanted her to push me in a wheelchair, and I said, no, it's okay, I'll walk. If I can walk, I will walk. I don't like sitting in wheelchairs. They give me an uncomfortable feeling. So I rather, but I know I'm gonna have to sit in one after I deliver the baby. I got another one, and I was just like, oh my goodness, please stop, please stop. So then we got to labor and delivery, and we had to wait like maybe 2-3 minutes for them to put me in a room. And they put me in a triage room first, and my nurse, the first nurse, Angie, she was amazing. I really hope that when I do go into labor, she's my nurse, or she's one of my nurses, because she was amazing. I loved her. Loved her. She was awesome. She was very patient. She listened to what I was saying and everything. And so they took my blood pressure. My blood pressure was fine. They had to come in and give me an IV. And usually when you go to labor and delivery, and they have to give you an IV, they either put your IV here on this part of your wrist, or they put it in your hand. They don't put it right here at the inside of your elbow, because of the fact that if you are in labor and you do have to push, and when you're pulling your legs back during labor, it's uncomfortable and it hurts when you bend your arm. But the girl that was doing my IV, she couldn't get a vein here or in my hand. They never really can, so it is what it is. But anyways, so they put the IV in my urine sample, they took a blood sample, and then urine, and they did a test with a Q-tip to see if I was in preterm labor. They did the blood work first, then they did, or my urine sample, blood work first, and they put and then as they were doing the blood work, they left the IV in, and they started giving me fluids. They gave me the first bag, and they wanted to hydrate me in case I was dehydrated. But after they checked my urine sample, the doctor that came in, the first doctor, she said that I had pristine urine. Her words exactly, pristine urine, because I was well hydrated. And I told my mom told them, yeah, she drinks a lot of water. Like, well, some people think that they're hydrated, but they're really not. And I was like, no, trust me. I know I'm hydrated. I drink a lot of water. I know what I'm telling you. And she was like, well, that's good. All my blood work was completely fine. So they were trying to figure out why I was contracting. And they put the monitors on me. They put the contraction monitor, and then they put the monitor that you hear the baby's heartbeat. And in my case, you could hear the baby moving. The baby was moving like crazy. I'm going to insert a clip right now. Then they had to do an exam to check my cervix, to see if my cervix was open and to see if I was dilated at all. And they also did a test to check to see if I was in preterm labor. This is where it gets a little complicated. So they see that I'm contracting every 2 to 3 minutes, and they're painful. And I know this is not gonna be how real labor is. I know they're gonna be worse. Trust me, I know they're gonna be worse. But these contractions, because they were contractions, they weren't just Braxton Hicks contraction. No. I was having real contractions, and they hurt so bad, and I was in pain. And at that time, they couldn't give me anything yet because they had to check my cervix. The way they check your cervix is the doctor puts a glove on, and then but in my case it was a woman, she put like jelly or lubricant. I think it was jelly, one of the two, whatever they use. She puts it on her finger, and then she literally has to go inside you and go all the way to the back of your cervix. This was so painful. So painful. It was just, it wasn't as painful. No, yeah. It was as painful as the contractions, if not maybe just a little bit worse. No, it wasn't worse. But it hurt to the point where I cried. And when I say I cried, I was bawling because it hurt. I was already crying when I was having contractions at home, and then I was crying on my way to the hospital because I was scared, or not scared, but I was getting worried because it's too early. And then when she did the cervix exam to see if my cervix was open, I was in pain. It hurt. She did it as quickly as she could. Everybody is different. When I say everybody is different because I know that, because I was telling my cousin, and she said that it hurt, but she didn't cry. And I have a pretty good pain tolerance, but when it comes to my period cramps, because that's the only thing I have to compare it to, my period cramps, I can't handle my period cramps. Those would hurt beyond anything I've ever experienced. I've never broken a bone. I've twisted my ankle plenty of times, but I've never broken a bone, so I don't know what it feels like to break a bone. But the pain that I felt while having my period cramps was horrible. I can't do anything, or I couldn't do anything when I would get my period, and that's the only thing that I can compare it to. And these contractions were worse than that, and that cervical exam was just as bad as my period cramps. That's like the best way that I can put it. They used a little cotton, not cotton, what has cotton, a Q-tip to check for preterm labor, and that came back negative. My cervix was completely closed and I was not dilated at all. And a second doctor came in, like maybe an hour or two later. I was contracting this whole time. I was contracting. And the other doctor came in. She was nice, but she wasn't as nice as the first doctor. And she had to do another cervical exam. And oh my God, that hurt. That one hurt even more. Like, oh, just the thought of it. But there's literally, like, they have to do it. There's nothing you can do, or they have to check you. And I tensed up. Mind you, this whole time my mom is telling me, don't tense up when you get a contraction. You have to breathe through it. And I haven't taken any Lamaze classes yet. I want to though. But my mom's telling me, she's like, you can't tense up. She's like, you have to breathe through it. Taking a deep breath, count to 15, like breathe in 15 seconds, 10 to 15 seconds, and then let it out 10 to 15 seconds. She's like, you have to do that. She's like, because that's going to help you. And you can't tense up, because if you tense up, it's going to make it worse. So I said, okay. So I was doing that. And then second doctor did the cervical exam. And I don't know why, but it hurt way worse than the first one. And when I say way worse, I mean way worse. And I tensed up, and she was like, you have to relax because or else I can't do the exam. And I felt like she was getting frustrated, but it's like, I mean, you're hurting me, like, I don't know what you want me to do. And the nurse, so they had to change out nurses because Angie went home, and then so they gave me a new nurse, and she was like, yeah, you have to calm down. She's like, you have to, put your legs like this, blah blah blah. So I did it. She couldn't do a proper exam, so instead she ordered for an ultrasound tech to come in and do an ultrasound of the baby, and then do an internal ultrasound to check my cervix and everything. 30 minutes pass by, and the ultrasound tech comes in, and she checks the baby. The baby looked perfect, moving like crazy. It looks like a wand is the best way to put it. The one that they have to do internal. They did that, and she said my cervix looks fine, or the doctor said my cervix looks fine, and they couldn't figure out why I was contracting, so they admitted me for observation. And at this point, it's like maybe 12:30 in the morning. Tells me that they're gonna give me a shot of morphine, and they're gonna admit me, and I'm gonna go to another room, like an actual labor and delivery room. And then the nurse that I had, she was gonna go to lunch, and so the other nurse was gonna take over for her. And since I was gonna be put into labor and delivery, a labor and delivery room, I had to get a different nurse. So the second nurse was telling the third nurse everything that was going on and everything, and then she told her that the doctor ordered for me to get a shot of morphine in my leg, so that way, one, it was gonna help me sleep, because I couldn't sleep through my contractions. They would wake me up. And two, it was going to help slow down the contractions. So I said, okay, that's fine. And I did ask if it was safe for the baby. And she said it was okay. And because of the fact that it wasn't going in my bloodstream, in my IV, it was going to go in my leg. They put it in my leg. And they took me to my new room, and which was really nice. I should have taken a picture of it. I think my mom might have a picture of the room. I'll ask her. They had to put the monitors back on me, and I still had my IV this whole time. By the time I got to the labor and delivery room, I was on my third IV bag. It was just to keep me hydrated. I was already hydrated as it was, but they were pumping me with more fluids, and just so that we can help stop the contractions too, I think. I'm pretty sure that's what she said. I was able to fall asleep after they gave me the morphine shot. It was 1:50 in the morning when they gave me the morphine shot, and by the time we got to the room, it was 2 o'clock, and I was able to fall asleep after they put the monitors on me and everything. I got comfortable and I fell asleep for a little bit, and then I woke up because I started feeling pressure again, and I was like, damn. I would kind of watch YouTube videos. I was watching Nicole Guerrero, her vlogs, and then I was feeling like I was gonna fall back asleep, so I went back to sleep. I fell back asleep, and then by the time I went back to sleep, it was 4:45, and then around 6:45 I felt a real contraction again. I was like, shit. And so I was awake for a while, and they came and they checked on me. At 4:30 I had a new nurse, and her name was Elsa. She was really sweet too, and she was asking me how I was feeling and everything. I told her I was feeling okay, but I did tell her that I was starting to feel my contractions again, or a contraction again, and she said that they're gonna keep monitoring my contractions, and that the doctor was gonna come in a little bit. And I was really hoping that it was a different doctor, but it wasn't. They wanted to monitor the baby again for like 20 minutes. They had stopped monitoring the baby before I got into the labor and delivery room, because the baby was completely fine. The baby was moving, the heart rate was good. And when I say the baby was moving like crazy. So Angie, the first nurse, she would put the monitor on me when we first got there, and you can hear the heartbeat, but you can also hear the baby moving. Whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. The clip before this, you can hear it. She would try to move, or she would move the monitor that had the baby's heartbeat, that you could hear the baby's heartbeat, and the baby would kick, And she was like, are you having a girl? And I said, I don't know what I'm having. And she goes, this might be a girl because she's sassy. And I started laughing, and my mom started laughing. And then I was like, it might be. I was like, think so. I was like, but I don't know. I really don't know what I'm having. And she goes, well, it might be a, so I think it's a girl, because she's real sassy right now. And it was hysterical. And then when the other nurses would move the monitor, because the baby would move and you could hear the heartbeat, but it was really faint because the baby had moved to the opposite side or lower. So then they would have to move the monitor lower for you to actually be able to hear the heartbeat. And it was so funny. It was hysterical. And I would laugh because Elsa, the last nurse, when she wanted to monitor the baby's heartbeat in the morning, it was like maybe 7 in the morning, 7:15 in the morning, and she told me, she said, we need to monitor the baby again for about 20 minutes. And I said, okay, that's fine. So then she was trying to put the monitor on me and find the baby's heartbeat, but all you could hear was the baby moving. It was so funny. You couldn't hear the heartbeat, but you could hear that this baby move. When I say move, baby was moving. And so then finally she was able to find the baby's heartbeat on my right side, kind of by my belly button. And then she's all, okay, hold it right there, so she could put the straps on. And I was trying not to laugh too hard, but to me it was hysterical because she wasn't really able to do it without the baby moving. And then it stayed there, the heartbeat stayed there for a minute, like maybe a good 5 minutes, and then the baby moved again, and you could hear the baby move. Baby moved again, and she was like, oh, this baby, so stubborn. And my mom goes, yeah, like the mom. And I was just laughing because I thought it was hysterical. I was like, you guys are bugging my kid. That's why. The nurse had to move the monitor again, just barely, and you were able to hear the baby's heartbeat again. The baby stayed there for a while, and Elsa was able to monitor for 20 minutes the baby's heartbeat and movement and everything. The doctor came in again, same doctor, like maybe 30-45 minutes later. She came in again, and she said, I have to do a cervical exam. And I was just like, I looked at my mom, and she goes, I know. The doctor said, I know. You're probably thinking, oh my God, I don't want to do this. And I was like, I don't. And then she was like, well, have you had a bad experience before with the exams? And I was like, yeah, like almost every time. I was like, I don't like them. I was like, they hurt and they're uncomfortable. She's like, well, we have to do it, blah blah blah. And I said, okay, whatever, that's fine. Like, I'm not gonna tell her no, don't do it. So she was starting to do it, and fuck, man, it hurt just as bad as the last time. And then she was like, I need you to relax and blah blah blah. But again, she sounded like she was getting frustrated, and that I felt bad because I know that she has to check my cervix, but it's hurting. Like, what do you want me to do? It fucking hurts. And so I was like, guys, when I say I tried so hard to not tense up. I tried to relax. I tried breathing, everything. And it just hurt. It just hurt. So I'm not getting a good exam, so I'm just gonna have the ultrasound tech come in here and do another internal ultrasound. And I said, okay, that's fine. That hurts less than you doing it. And so then, well, I didn't tell her that, but that's what I was thinking. And then the ultrasound tech came in. She didn't do one of the baby. Did she do one of the baby? Yeah, she did. She did another one of the baby. Baby looked fine and everything. And then she did the internal one, and that hurt way less than the doctor's finger or fingers. I think she just uses one. And then my cervix was still fine. My cervix was completely closed, and I'm still wasn't dilated at all. After the ultrasound tech finished, the doctor didn't come back for a while because I think she had to go deliver a C-section baby. And so I got really sleepy and I fell asleep. And I think my mom did too. And but every time I would hear the door, I would wake up. But they always were just coming to check on my IV bag, because at this point I was on my 4th IV bag, and they had just started it. The doctor finally came in like around 12, and she said that they were gonna discharge me because I'm not in preterm labor. I'm not in danger of being in preterm labor because of the exams that they did. My cervix looks fine, and my cervix is closed, and I wasn't dilated at all. My blood work looked normal, and my urine was normal. Oh, they took my urine again. When they put me into the new room, they rechecked my urine, and my urine was normal. That's when they did it, was when I got into the room. Told me that they were gonna discharge me, and that just take it easy, blah blah blah. And I said okay. And then she told me that I had to follow up with a specialist or my regular doctor. And I said okay, that's fine, I'll do that. Oh, she told me that I might be one of those women that just start contracting really early, but as long as it's not 6 or more in an hour, that I should be fine. And I said okay, you're the professional. And that's what my cousin told me too. She says as long as it's not 6 or more in an hour, I should be fine. So the nurse Elsa, she did tell me that that I was still contracting like once every 30 minutes to an hour, and that I might still feel them. She says you probably will still feel them, but you're not contracting as frequent as you were before. And at that point they couldn't really do anything because my cervix was normal and everything. So they sent me home, and I kind of still did feel contractions at night, or the rest of the day. Not so much throughout the day, because I slept like the majority of the afternoon. I slept last night. So yesterday I got home at like 1:30, I think. Yeah, like 1:32. And we ate, and then I watched 47 Meters Down, and then I just slept the rest of the afternoon. And I kind of woke up a little bit, like around 4 or 5 or 5 or 6, something like that. I woke up for a little while, and then I fell back asleep, and then I woke up again like around 8:39, and I took a shower because I had wanted to take a shower earlier, but I was just so sleepy. So I slept, and then I took a shower, and then I was up until like maybe 1 or so, 1 in the morning, and I got sleepy again, so I just fell asleep. That was my crazy adventure Saturday and Sunday. I'm really thankful for the doctors, even though she did hurt me. And I did want to punch her in the face. I'm very thankful for her. And I'm thankful that my baby wasn't born Saturday or yesterday. I'm very thankful for that. And I'm thankful for the nurses that were very helpful, very patient, very sweet, very kind. I'm ridiculously thankful for them. And I'm thankful to God that He heard my prayers, and He heard everybody else's prayers to, keep me and the baby safe. And I'm so thankful to my mom. I'm really thankful to my mom, because I was in pain, and she knew I was in pain because I started crying when I was at home. And she told me, she's like, you need to call your doctor, you need to tell him what's going on. So I did, and that's why I ended up going to the hospital. And so she didn't leave my side, not once. She helped me when I had to go to the bathroom, and I had to unplug myself from the monitors. She helped unplug me and everything, and she calmed me down when they had to do the cervical exam. She did calm me down, and I seriously, I cannot thank her enough. I really can't. I don't know what I would do without my mom. I don't know what I would do without her. I really don't. I really, really don't know what I would do without her. And I'm most thankful to God for watching over us through that entire ordeal. I can't thank him enough either. He kept us safe. He really did. He gave the knowledge to the nurses, and he gave the knowledge to the doctors and the ultrasound tech, everybody. He is amazing. He's an amazing God. And I'm thankful beyond words. The baby. Tell the baby again. Not allowed to come out until at least 36 weeks. So you have another 7 weeks to go. That's the earliest this child is allowed to come out. Is not allowed to come out before that. So, and because of having to go to the hospital, I decided that I'm going to prepare a emergency bag for myself. Well, not an emergency bag, but like a hospital bag for myself, and the baby's bag as well. I had a baby shower while I was in Texas, and so I got diapers, some onesies, or clothes, and wipies and stuff like that. So I went to storage today and I got that out. And then right now, when I pick up my mom from work, we're gonna go to Target and we're gonna get the diaper bag that I want. It's actually a backpack, so we're gonna go do that, and I'm gonna prepare that because I'd rather be prepared than not prepared. So, and although we pray and we ask God that this baby not come out before 36 weeks or even before it's ready, you never know. Only God knows when this kid is going to come out. So I rather be prepared, and I will feel secure in myself knowing that I have a bag ready for myself and I have a bag ready for my child, and let that be that. We're just going to end here, and I just want to say thank you to everybody that checked in on us. And I mean everybody, even though it's just family because I didn't tell anybody else. I want to say thank you to those that prayed for us, and those that continue to pray for us, and those that are there for us. And I want to say thank you from the bottom of my heart, and I appreciate all the prayers, and I appreciate everything. So thank you so much, and I will see you guys in my next video. I'll talk to you later.